Okay, now here we have a question of pseudo gravitational force. Two equal masses, heavy masses, are situated at a separation of r naught. One of them is imparted a velocity v naught equal to square root of gm by r naught, perpendicular to the line joining them. Treating motion only under mutual gravitational force, find the ratio of maximum and minimum separation between them. So let's draw the diagram for this. Uh, so we got two spheres. Okay, these are the two masses. They are identical masses, right? Two equal heavy masses, correct? So both have mass m, right? They are separated by a distance of r naught. Okay, and one particle is imparted a velocity v naught. Okay, v naught value is given root gm by r naught. So we have to find the maximum and minimum separation between them. So here the problem is that both the masses will be accelerating under mutual gravity. If you draw the gravitational force on the particles, so they are attracting each other, right? So the force acting on them is how much? The force acting on them will be g m square by r naught square at this moment. Okay, g m square by r naught square at this moment. But after some time, let's say at some random moment of time, at some random moment of time, they will be having some separation between them r. Okay, the separation between these two particles will be r. Okay, and in this situation, the particles will have both the particles will have some velocity. Okay, but the main concern we have is regarding the acceleration. So both of them have acceleration towards each other. Gravitational force will be gm square by r square. So the acceleration will be gm by r square. Both of the particles have acceleration like this because they only have mutual gravitational force. Okay, so now I could apply two different methods. Either I could solve in the reference frame of center of mass. Okay, this is one way of solving it, and actually the center of mass reference frame will make things slightly easier. Okay, but there is another way of solving it using the pseudo force. Okay, so I will tell you both the methods. Let's first solve using the pseudo force method. So my method one is using pseudo force. Okay, so again let's draw this system over here. Okay, uh so this is our acceleration. Okay, and forget the masses. Let's fix this one. In this we are looking at the reference frame, in the reference frame of this particular mass. So in the frame of this mass, uh, uh the this is my reference frame, this is my reference frame, so it will be fixed now. Okay, and in the reference frame now there are two forces acting on the second body. One is obviously the mutual gravitational attraction g m square by r square, and the second force is mass into acceleration ma equal to again g m square by r square. This is the pseudo force. Okay, because this particle had acceleration in this direction, so with respect to this particle, the second particle is experiencing a pseudo force ma in backward direction, which is equal to again gm square by r square. So now what we have done is, now we have gm square by r square actual gravitational force, and we could call this as a pseudo gravitational force, right? So we could simply add them together and we got a net gravitational force which is twice the original in this in this reference frame. Okay, so we have now double the gravitational force, so everything, potential energy, kinetic energy, everything will get doubled. Okay, no, not kinetic energy, potential energy obviously will get doubled. So now in this reference frame we could write down the relative potential energy u relative as minus 2g m square by r. Okay, for gravitational force gm square by r square, we have the gravitational potential energy minus gm square by r. So since the gravitational force is now 2 gm square by r, 1 plus 1, that is 2 gm square by r, so the potential energy is also now twice. Simple. Okay, and then we will also have k relative, kinetic energy relative, m v relative square by 2. Okay, velocity of this particle with respect to this particle. Simple. Okay. So now this is C. This is still a new type of gravitational force, central force. So we can say we can safely assume that the two particles the second particle will perform elliptical motion. It will perform elliptical motion. So this will be my elliptical motion. Actually, let's bring it a bit to the center. Right. So this one is the fixed mass. Okay, let's call it A. This is A. So this is the fixed mass A, and this is the second mass B. Okay. Now we have let's draw the speeds. So this has initial speed how much? According to question, initial speed is how much? V naught. V naught is root gm by r naught. V naught is root gm by r naught. Okay, and since the particle A was initially at rest, so the relative velocity will not change initially. Okay, and the minimum separation over here is r1, which is actually r0, and the maximum separation, or maybe the other separation is minimum, I don't know, let's call it r1. Okay, so we have r0 and r1. So obviously with the minimum and maximum, one of the two answers is obviously r0. So now here let's say the relative velocity is v1. Relative velocity is v1. So the equations that we can apply now is kinetic energy and angular momentum conservation. Sorry, total energy and angular momentum conservation. So for the energy equation, we have energy equation will be initial potential plus initial kinetic equal to final potential plus final kinetic. So initial potential will be minus 2g m square by r naught square plus initial kinetic will be mv square by 2. So g m square by 2 r naught, m into v naught square by 2. So we get this thing. Okay, and this is equal to minus 2 g m square by r1. Oops, this will be only r naught plus m v1 square by 2. This is my first equation, and then I have the angular momentum conservation equation. So initial angular momentum will be m v naught r naught because they are perpendicular to each other. Okay, and here also they are perpendicular, so final angular momentum will be m v1 r1. They should be equal to each other. So when you solve these two equations, you can find r1. Okay, so we have v1 equal to v naught r naught by r1. Put this v1 in this equation. So when you combine them, you will obtain. Now I'm writing this equation. So minus 2 plus 1 by 2. Okay. So minus 3 gm square by r naught, 2 r naught is equals to minus 2 gm square by r1 plus m by 2 v1 square. So v1 square will be v naught square r naught square by r1 square. Okay. So put the value of v naught over here. So minus 3 by 2 g m by r naught equal to minus 2 gm by r1 plus, actually I cancel out all the m over here, and v naught is gm by r. V naught square will be gm by r naught. Okay, 2 r naught into r naught square by r1 square. So let's cancel out gm by r naught. No, actually not, r naught will not cancel out, gm will cancel out. Okay, so we have this over here now. We rearrange this equation again. So minus 3 by 2 r naught equal to minus 2 by r1 plus r naught by 2 r1 square. Okay, or I can also get minus 3 is equals to minus 4 r naught by r1 plus 2, actually 2 will cancel out, plus r naught square by r1 square. Now if I call r naught by r1 equal to x, if I say r naught by r1 is equal to x, then what I obtain, minus 3 equal to minus 4x plus x square. So x square minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So x square minus 3x minus x plus 3 equal to 0. If I solve this equation, I will get x is equal to, so x equal to 3 or 1. There are two possibilities, right? Now, why we are getting two answers over here? That is because the equation that we solved, these equations, basically we are solving actually this equation, right? We are solving this equation actually, correct? Now, this is the equation for this elliptical orbit where the distance minimum can be r1 or r0. Okay, the minimum distance can be r0 and the maximum distance can be r1, but that equation cannot identify whether we are solving for maximum or minimum. So the equation has given us both the answers r1 and r0. Now the second method involves actually center of mass. Second method involves using COM. Okay, in COM frame what will happen? See, first of all, the two spheres are such that this one has initial velocity v naught and the second sphere is at rest, correct? So when you talk about the center of mass, so VC will be mv naught by 2m, so that is v naught by 2. So the center of mass has velocity v naught by 2. So now with respect to center of mass, what we get, this is my center of mass and these are the two spheres, okay? So this will have velocity v naught by 2 upwards, this will have velocity v naught by 2 downwards, okay? And now they will follow elliptical orbit like this, something like this. I have just guessed it, that since the initial separation is minimum, this should be the maximum separation over here, okay? So at maximum separation both the particles will have some velocity v1, okay, some velocity v1 with respect to center of mass. This is v1 is with respect to center of mass, okay? And the distance between them will be r1 by 2 and r1 by 2. And again with respect to center of mass you have to apply the energy conservation and angular momentum conservation, that is initial kinetic plus initial potential energy equal to final kinetic plus final potential energy, and initial angular momentum total equal to final total angular momentum. So when you write the equation for energy, so the equation for energy will be, initially with respect to center of mass we are writing, right? So initial kinetic energy is what, 2 into m half mv square, right? So v naught by 2 whole square minus g m square by r naught. Initial separation is r naught, correct? This is r naught by 2, this is r naught by 2, okay? And final energy is what, mv1 square by 2. So 2 times mv1 square by 2 minus gm square by r1. This is my first equation, and then I have the angular momentum equation. Angular momentum equation will be, initially it is how much, m into v naught by 2 into r naught by 2 plus m into r naught by 2 into v naught by 2. So 2 times m v naught by 2 r naught by 2 equal to 2 times m v1 r1 by 2, okay? v1 and r1 by 2. So again when you solve these two equations just like the previous method, you will get the answer for r1, and again you will get two answers for r1, but since the initial condition r0 is already known, we have to take the other answer, clear?